Good Friday morning. It's WKRK, and it's got a text message from Leo Phillips that say, "Tell Derek he said hello."
Well, hello, Leo.
All
It's
right.
good to hear from you this morning.
All right, let me scoot over here without making too much racket. I've got the recorder going for the radio broadcast. We're live on Facebook, and I think it's one. As we were talking this morning, it's kind of a Monday, kind of Friday.
It is.
It is, and I'm having to second guess what I'm doing as far as my regular job. It's been a very active week this week. We've had a lot of filming going on this week, and we've enjoyed it.
Last Friday was a Monday all day long for me. I ran from the time I came in to the time I went home on Friday evening. I usually, if I can, try to skip out a little bit early on Friday, 2 or 3 o'clock if I can get out of the office, but I think last Friday it was like 6 or 7 o'clock before I left.
Ooh,
and it was just all day. And I think this Friday is off to the same direction too. So, but it's good. It's good to stay busy, I guess.
That's right. We have a lot to talk about today, a lot going on today, and we're going to be the awards thing tonight.
It is.
Yeah, it's the
Officer Appreciation Dinner.
I can't get my words out today. The Officer Appreciation Dinner is going on today. I need 2 more hours of sleep. 2 more hours of sleep and 2 more cups of coffee, and I'll be good to go.
They'll be good to go.
But it is going to be, and we're going to try to do a Facebook Live broadcast if we don't get enough data signal over there. I don't know what kind of Wi-Fi they use at the church, but if not, then we'll record it and post it as soon as I get back home.
And our patrol cars will be there. We'll have Wi-Fi's that we run our computers off of, so surely you can connect to something there.
Awesome. If we can get some good upload speed, we'll make it happen live, because I love doing the live videos.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
It's more interactive, and plus it saves me some work.
Right. And we're, like I say, that starts at 6 o'clock tonight. It's our annual Officer Appreciation Dinner. We like to do something around the first of the year to thank our officers for the hard work they did the year before and the difference they've made in their communities. We'll have Deputy of the Year, Investigator of the Year, Detention Officer, and Telecommunicator of the Year. So we're very anxious to get that going and show these guys how much we appreciate them.
And that's one of the things, because with the national news media, you see so many negative stories about law enforcement.
Right.
But a lot of times they fail to see what's good with law enforcement.
That is true.
And so this is one of the things I really enjoy wanting to cover, is because there's so much good that your office and other agencies and departments do that just don't get recognized by the public.
Right.
And so this is just one of those ways to highlight and spotlight the good that you provide our community.
One of the things we're going to talk about tonight on some of the recipients that's going to receive awards tonight. No rewards, but they'll get awards. Is the fact of things that they have done for our community. I mentioned this a little bit on some previous shows, but some of the things we'll talk about tonight is like officers that go out and when they find out that like somebody on their elderly call-in list needs help on their days off, they go help the person and help them with home issues, plumbing issues, electrical. We have electricians and stuff there that that were previous electricians that know how to do that, and just carpentry work and type things. So, we've got people that when they know there's a need there, such as the elderly, they'll go out and do things on their spare time and their off time to do that. We've got deputies that will go out, and when they're on calls and responding to things, they will see needs within the community. And they won't call and ask for any money from the sheriff's office or from the commission board or anybody else, but they'll just take it upon themselves and take money out of their own pocket to provide things to our community and to the people around. And I know one officer in particular, probably it was in the cold snap, went and to Walmart and bought a space heater and took it to a couple that knew didn't have any heat or very limited heat. And another one that family's daughter was being put in the hospital and they had no ways of communicating and didn't have a vehicle to get back and forth and was trying to figure out what was going to happen with her. So deputy went out and purchased a cell phone and took it to them, and straight talk phone, put some minutes on it for them so they could communicate back and forth with the hospital as needs arose and stuff like that, and these deputies and detention officers and even telecommunicators that are doing these things, they're, like I say, they're not coming to me and asking for anything. They're not going to the chief or the captain or anybody and asking them, is it okay if I do this, or can you help us out with some money or anything like that. They're just doing it on their own. And so when we have a staff like that and have people like that working in the sheriff's office, I think it's important to let them know that you appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And that the community appreciates that.
And it's really good to know that we have such high caliber people that have been hired to represent us as the general population.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when I was elected in 2014. That's one of the things myself and the chief sat down and really talked about as we were putting our office together and trying to figure out what we were going to do and who we were going to hire and things of that nature. We were determined that we were going to try to develop an office of people who had a compassion for our community and had a heart for our community, and that wanted to be there for the right reasons and wanted to do the right things. And so for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, it was kind of like a weeding out process of not really firing people, but just saying, here is what we expect. These are our demands. These are what we want to see out of our deputies. And some people liked it, some people didn't. Some people left and went to work in other places. But then we would rehire people that would go back into those spots that really did have a passion for the community and was there for the right reason. So I think that we are in a good place and we're in a good spot now.
All right. Well, we will look forward to that tonight. It's probably too late now. It's not really an event that's they need to have RSVP'd by now, correct?
We wanted them to because it is being catered, and so we need to know how much food to bring. Right. But if you're listening today and you want to attend the event tonight, just call the sheriff's office and speak with Stephanie Swanson and let her know that you want to attend the event tonight, and she'll make sure that there's plenty of food there for everybody.
All right. Very good.
I will say this. I do know that we're like everybody else. The flu has hit and stomach bug and those kind of things. So we do know that we're going to have employees that's not going to be able to make it tonight because of sickness and maybe not their sickness, but sickness within the family and things. So it's one of those things with the flu, right in the middle of flu season. Right. You don't know if you're going to have 10 or 100. You don't know how many is going to show up. But it's good just to let them know that you are planning to attend. That way we'll be prepared to make sure we have enough food.
Good. All right. Let's get on a serious subject that I dread talking about, to be honest. But there is a situation, allegation right now with the principal of Murphy High School, I guess former principal. Can you give us any details on that situation?
Very limited because it is an ongoing investigation. The allegations that were made was not while he was principal of Murphy. It was while he was principal of Hiawassee Dam. Okay. So if anybody that's in the Murphy district, Murphy area that's learning about this situation, just know there was not an incident alleged at Murphy High School. Okay. It was alleged an incident at Hiawassee Dam that this all started. And subsequently, he has been been indicted and arrested on 2 counts of indecent liberties with a child. But I do want to say this. The SBI is handling the press releases and all the information on this. We are assisting the SBI on the case. But I do want to say from a sheriff's perspective that it's heartbreaking. It really is. And it's devastating not only to victims that are involved, but also the accused and his family that's involved. It's devastating to communities. And so we just want to say that are really, truly our heartfelt prayers go out to everyone involved in this situation. And what we hope for and what we pray for is that whatever the truth is and however things play out, that we hope that truth prevails in the situation there.
When did the arrest happen?
Day before yesterday, I believe. I think it was Wednesday.
And you said the SBI is going to be handling the press releases, so I guess I need to get in touch with them to make sure that we're on the list.
Yeah. The SBI is the ones that's in charge of the press release, and we are, like I say, we are doing limited assistance with the SBI on this case.
All right. Well, let's move on to something a little more cheery and happy. That is a heartbreaking situation to all involved. No one wins in situations like that, but it is something that is newsworthy, and we need to at least acknowledge to our community that is an ongoing investigation.
Well, another real quick thing I want to mention to that, too, is we know Facebook, we know the social media mill, and we know that when things like this happen, that rumors start flying and people start putting things out there that may or may not be accurate. So I just encourage the communities to not believe everything you read or everything you see, because there is very limited information that's coming out. Right. And so if you know all the details, you know everything that's happening, it's probably not accurate. So,
and that's one of the reasons I like doing these shows on Facebook Live and on the radio too, because we can get the information that is actually from official sources.
Right.
Yes, I mean, there have been plenty of rumors about the flu sicknesses, and we had Dr. Conley on there yesterday to pretty much here's the situation that really is at hand.
Yeah.
And so there are so many conflicting different opinions and stories. So, and she can't keep track with all of those.
No, there's no way. And you know, going back to the flu, and we do know that we do have families and sicknesses and people that's tested positive for the flu in our area, and we do know that it's an issue that we do need to deal with and need to be cautious of. I should have went back about a month ago and bought stock in Lysol and Germ-X because I use it every day at the sheriff's office. But the fact of the matter is we have so far up to this point that we have come out better ahead in Cherokee County than a lot of our surrounding counties have around us. And we, even though that it is an issue, it is something we need to be concerned about here. We're not at an epidemic level or anything here in Cherokee County, to my knowledge. If we have, no one's revealed that to me. So, but I do urge people to be careful. You know, like for our church, for example, we've kind of suspended the handshaking and the hugging for right now, and just kind of do the fist bump, piece,
right?
you know, till the flu season kind of gets behind us. But
or just once. Get on Facebook Messenger, sends a thumbs up.
Right, yeah. Right. And so you know, there is a reason to take precautions, and there is a reason to be careful. But the worst thing that we could do is panic and blow things out of proportion. So God bless her, I just commend Dr. Connolly for what she does and what she has to do for the school system.
And she was saying, too, that to be effective, because people are pretty much asking, close schools down, but you need to really have a level of absenteeism that constitutes that. Plus, it's ineffective unless you can do it for like 4 or 5 days in a row.
It is.
And there's all kinds of activities like sporting events on the weekends that you can't.
Well, that's the thing about it. And I had a conversation with Dr. Conley about this, and there is more probably flu spread and germ spread at basketball games than there would be actually during the school day at school. And so, you know, if you wanted to really be proactive on the flu and take care of the flu, would be canceling extracurricular events would be where you'd be more effective on that than it would be closing school down. So, like I say, but there's a lot of thought to be put into all of that. And you do have to justify that, because for the school system, they don't know what snow may still be coming. We could still have snow in February and even up in March. I know my birthday's March 16th, and my 21st birthday, I was waist deep in a blizzard of 93. So,
oh, wow.
So it can snow in March, and it can close school down. And so, you know, they have to be prepared for those type of things, too. And so if they cancel school now when they really don't have to, and then a blizzard comes in March and tornado in April or whatever may happen, they could potentially be putting kids going to school way up into the summer sometimes. So
I was listening to the school board meeting last night, and Dr. Connolly had said something that kind of surprised me. I had never realized. She gave a figure of how many miles per day school buses drive, and I think the number was 2,605 miles each day that our school bus drivers drive in our county. And we're just one of 100 counties in North Carolina.
Right.
If you go down to the Tennessee state line, you'll see the sign that says Manteo, 551 miles.
Right.
So when I calculated that 2,605 miles, I came up with school buses drive across the state 4.7 times a day.
Right.
And I've driven across the state.
Right.
That's not a fun drive.
No, it isn't.
It's a short drive either.
No, it isn't.
But I had no idea. I never really thought about it, though. But we do have so many different schools in our area and so many different bus routes. And then there are the shared routes, too, that the buses are shared between schools. So
I drove a bus for Murphy, and my route was Peachtree area and back. And I would get on the bus at approximately 15 to 3 is when we got on our buses and got ready to line up and that kind of thing, and was getting back from unloading kids about 4:30, 4:15, somewhere like in there. So, you know, it takes a long time to get all the kids delivered and get them delivered safely around the county. And a lot of people don't realize how long it takes to get kids delivered.
And we probably have quite a few more buses than I realized, too.
Right.
Yeah, I just went to one school, but then I think about there's Hiawassee Dam, there's Peachtree, March Creek. So there's all these different buses.
There's currently 13 schools.
13 schools right now.
Right, yeah.
And I'm wondering how many school buses total.
I couldn't answer that.
That's a lot of driving. We have a very big county land-wise,
right?
And I know you know firsthand as sheriff how much land we have in Cherokee County.
I think we have about 455 square miles.
450. You just know that off the top of your head, don't you?
Right. Yeah, and we have. And the thing I keep reiterating about patrolling efforts and things in the county, from Wolf Creek at the Tennessee line to the county line at Topton, it's 54 miles in one direction. And
54 miles in one direction.
Yeah. So if you think about that, if you're at Topton and you drive 54 miles east, you're out past Cherokee, almost to Silva at that point. And so that's the distance it is across our county back the other direction. And a lot of people don't realize how big Cherokee County is. It's a huge county. And leaving right now from the radio station, if I was to jump in my car and drive blue lights and siren to places like Unaka, Violet, Schuler's Creek, those type of places on the northern end of the county, you're looking at least 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes, driving as hard as you can drive with blue lights and siren, going as fast as you can go. So a lot of people don't realize how long it takes to get to some of these places.
It's a big county when you drive down to Violet and look at the mailboxes on Joe Brown Highway, and some of the numbers on the mailboxes are bigger than the mailbox.
Right.
There's like 452. It's like so long of an address.
Yeah.
It's like its own zip code, but it's
right.
But I was talking to another law enforcement officer last night. We just met him this morning, Tony. He was part of the news story. We were talking about ricin,
right? And
there was a young man from Blue Ridge that made the news because he had possessed that, and that is something that is can be used as a weapon of mass destruction. Is that the way it's called for that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And he had worked on that case with him being from Gilmer County. They were as a joint. And we had kind of gotten into this conversation that a lot of people, we think of these small little towns like Murphy, Andrews, and these safe places, but there's a lot of people that take advantage and they move into areas like this thinking that they can move off the map, off the grid.
Well, just recapping in recent memory that, we're home of Eric Robert Rudolph here. The 9/11 World Trade Center, some of those guys that were on that plane, that terrorists that flew the plane into the building, they were starting to train and inquiring about training at Andrews Airport, So just in recent memory, we can look back and see where people come to this area for that very reason, to try to get off the map, to get off the radar, to kind of hide a little bit. And I tell people this, and I'm not meaning this to try to scare anybody, but it's just true, that if the average citizen knew what really was going on in Cherokee County and what we deal with on a daily basis, it would scare people as to what's really here and what we deal with. I remember a couple years ago, the vice president of the Aryan Brotherhood, who was in charge of the entire East Coast Aryan Brotherhood gang, had a house right down here on 1929 in Cherokee County, and we arrested him on federal warrants and put him in our jail. And he was running the entire East Coast of the Aryan Brotherhood out of Murphy. So
I didn't know about that one.
So and just things like that we deal with and that we're involved in that the average citizen doesn't know about. We are very busy and we do a lot of work, but we don't advertise a lot of things that we do.
Right. How do you like the new camera angle?
Oh yeah,
working out for you?
I think it works out a little better.
All right, very good. Yeah, I noticed with the camera last few times, my head was like at the top middle of the screen, and you're like down here. So I figured out a much better way to situate that camera to make this happen. I don't know why I had to bring that to your attention, but just a random subject change there.
You got distracted.
I did. I was watching the camera too much.
ADD kicked in.
Yes, it is. All right. What else is going on in the sheriff's office that you would like to tell folks about?
One thing I do want to mention is because someone asked this question this week, and I would like to just mention it on the radio so people understand this, is about our concealed weapons and the process you go through to get concealed weapons and purchase permits. Now, if I don't have to tell you, if you've been through the process, that up until about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, you could walk into the sheriff's office, do an application for a purchase permit or a concealed weapons permit, and you could just wait in the lobby, and 15, 20 minutes later, you could get your permit and leave and walk out. Those rules and regulations have changed over the years, and it's not because of me as sheriff wants to change them and wants to make things harder on people. They've changed because North Carolina legislation has passed laws and said these are the way we have to do things now and the way we have to go through the process. And so if you recall a couple years ago anyway, there was a bill introduced into legislation as to trying to get a 10-day wait permit. And that was a big controversial thing in North Carolina about the 10-day waiting permit before you could purchase a firearm. And subsequently, it got shot down in the I don't remember if it was the House or the Senate, but in North Carolina Congress, it got shot down. But one of the compromises for that was that the state would require mental health background checks. And so there's a process we have to go through now. And when you do your application, not only do we have to go back and check doctors you have visited and have to get letters back from them stating they don't know of a medical reason, we have to go through the clerk's office and check the records there and make sure there's not been any court cases where a person's been adjudicated incompetent or involuntary commitments and things of that nature. But I want to make sure that people understand that's not just a decision that we made at the sheriff's office. That is something that's mandated by the state, that state legislation says we have to do now in order to issue the permit. And then on top of that, not only once all that goes through, everything is submitted to the state, and then the permits actually comes from the state itself and from Raleigh. And so we're at the mercy of them of sending stuff back. So in essence, what happened was they didn't agree to the 10-day wait permit, but because of all these hoops and things you have to jump through now, it's taken more than 10 days. It's taken several weeks to get things back. And so I know a lot of people gets frustrated with the sheriff's office and gets frustrated when they try to purchase weapons and get concealed handgun permits. But I just want people to understand there's things that's out beyond our control, that it's not our doings, but it's doings of the state and the legislation that was passed.
Speaking of the timing situation, since the Western Carolina Crime Lab has opened up here in Western Carolina, is it Edneyville?
Right.
Have you noticed any immediate impacts from that?
Oh, we're still filtering down to that. I think we're getting stuff back a little bit quicker than we were before, but it's getting better. And I think that as time goes, things will start getting better and better. But there was such a backlog when it opened that I think they're still in the process of trying to catch up a lot of that backlog. And
do they have to move a lot of things from Raleigh to this end of the state to process?
Yeah, I think so, because before what we were doing, when Skyland Lab shut down, we were having to send everything to Raleigh to be processed. So a lot of the old cases and things that we had submitted, they had to send back from Raleigh to the Western Lab to be analyzed there. So there was that whole process between the labs themselves of getting things moved back and forth. But we have noticed things getting better, and we have noticed that the turnaround time's a little bit quicker than it has been in the past. But hopefully, as they get things more and more ironed out, that'll smooth out even more. So we're keeping our fingers crossed anyway.
All right. Well, folks, tune in tonight on Facebook Live. We will be doing the awards dinner tonight from Murphy First Baptist Church to let our law enforcement know how much we appreciate what they are doing, the above and beyond. We love knowing that they do things that are not just part of their job description, that they do care about the community, and we love to celebrate things like that. So we'll do our best to do it live at 6 o'clock. And how long do you think the ceremony is going to last tonight?
It will probably last, I would say, probably an hour or so.
I'll make sure to have a full battery.
Okay.
All right. Again, that's going to be 6 o'clock tonight. We're going to do our best to do it live. If not, I'll record it and upload it within a couple of hours right here on WKRK's Facebook page. Sheriff, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us on this weekly program, and we look forward to seeing you again tonight.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much. And folks who are watching on Facebook right now, our next Facebook live broadcast, Fridays are a little busy, as you know, but we're going to do our next Facebook live broadcast at about 10 minutes until 1 o'clock with Murphy Mayor Rick Ramsey. So we'll look forward to talking to the Mayor Rick Ramsey around 12:50 today right here on WKRK in Murphy, North Carolina. Now let me go push a button here to stop this recording.